Yo, what's good, y'all? What's good? No Excuse family. So, I usually don't do reaction type videos, but since I was actually in this particular discussion, um, I wanted to, kind of do a light reaction to it. So, for those who are new to my channel or just, just checking it out, seeing what the conversation was about, I want to ask if you could please subscribe, um, if you're interested in travel. So my channel is primarily travel based. I want brothers and sisters, if interested, to subscribe. If you're interested and open to allow me to introduce you to international travel. Specifically, um, I encourage black men to meet foreign black women. Also, I think it's maybe healthy even black women that may be interested in finding black men abroad. Which I have topics kind of addressing both audiences, but specifically travel for dating, relationships, starting a family, and or marriage. Um, I rarely do non-travel related content, so don't expect me to react to other content creators, often. So this is kind of like a one-off. So let me add this to the stream real quick. Let me pause it. So this in this particular stream, I would say debate that I engage with the saint and the sinner. Um, I chimed in because I seen him. He made a video recently titled "Video of Kevin Samuels Scamming." So I was like, okay, what is he? What is he alleging Kevin Samuels scamming of, or something like that? So, um, in the stream, he referenced a video where I guess Kevin Samuels was leaving or moving out of place or something like that. And I think if anybody's seen the video, I'm not going to play it, but it was a video circulating of a place that he stayed at or maybe rented a room. And the host or owner was asking him about a payment of some sort. So, he kind of played that, in reference to what he was wanting to talk about. So me and him got into a exchange in relations to first let me move this cursor out the way. Well, first I had posted a comment because I was kind of like, and once I play it, I'll hide this background. But I had made a comment. I was like, you sure made sure you got a pick with him. Now back to being a critic because he was a critic of Kevin Samuels. Then if you seen in the thumbnail before I put it up, he was he made sure he got a pic with him like they was cool. And then he posted it up on his community tab, which he later removed, you know. But he keeps it 100. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start the segment and then I will, comment as we go.
No excuse ENT, right? Right. You made sure you got a pick with him. Now back to being a critic. Now watch how cowardly these males are, these weak males. No excuse, which I highly doubt he doesn't make excuses. He doesn't go by his real name, doesn't have a profile photo. It's not surprising. I tell you, these people are always ugly and broke. I'll give you the chance to go ahead. I'm gonna make an exception for you, no excuse ENT. Turn on your camera, click the link in the description. I'll let you come on and represent yourself.
So here we go. You don't know me from a can of paint, but making these assumptions. So I took him on his challenge. What I didn't like, I don't know if it was him or the person that was helping him moderate, but like I made a comment, a fair comment, and he blocked me, so I couldn't make any more comments. So I was just like, I just went up. But yeah, so I don't know why I got blocked after making that comment, but it was, it was real. Like made sure you got a picture with him, and now you are and now you're being back a critic again. You know what I mean? I done seen references to other YouTubers say that he blocked people, and I guess people can't have a freedom of dialogue, but he wants, he claims to be transparent and want to keep it 100. So that's that. Let me go to the next bullet point. Let me start here.
Peace of the Saints. How are you?
What's good? What's good, bro? How you doing?
Hey, this is no excuses. This the boy that was talking reckless.
I was just fucking with you, man. But I got a question, and then I'll address what I put in the chat though.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing what you're saying about Kevin Samuels as far as he pretty much made it his last 2 years of his life. Now, what's really wrong with that, especially him being a black man in the system we live in? And then also you got somebody like, do you admire like Steve Harvey, for example?
Real quick, before you pile in too much stuff, let me address what you're saying so that
All right.
I can honor your words, right? Because you just keep asking 30 goddamn questions consecutively, we're not gonna be able to address them all.
Go ahead.
So the first thing you said, Kevin Samuels was successful in the last 2 years of his life. What's wrong with that? That was your question.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So I was trying to get into, the meat of what he was trying to say. He was trying to make, basically his opinion that late success isn't, somebody that has late success shouldn't give advice about success or how to be successful. Which I highly disagree. And I'll let you know why I disagree. Let me continue.
Anytime a man becomes successful, that's a beautiful thing. Everything is right with that. And I've said before you came on, I am very happy that he found success. It's a beautiful thing. What I am telling you is that in life, there are many paths one can take. There are many ideas, ideologies, religions, ways of being that one can follow. If his method had him live 57 years, and out of those 57 years, 55 of them years he was brokered in a motherfucker, then that method ain't a good method. You need to find a goddamn new method. Now, does that make sense to you?
Now, I get what you're saying. His method, you're talking about his method. I recognize his intelligence. He was an intelligent, he's an intelligent person. He went to school for chemical engineering. I don't believe he completed his degree. All right, so we're about to get into, talking about Kevin Samuels' degree and if he lied or not. But before we get into that, so this is my thoughts. What I really wanted to get out was that there are plenty, especially black people, that are intelligent, have all the credentials, went to the right universities, applied for the same jobs that other people apply to. You got people that are in Silicon Valley that have great ideas for tech startups and not getting the funding support that they need. So whether you're trying to be an employee or entrepreneur, we do have these barriers, and these barriers do delay. Now, is that an excuse? No, it's just reality. You know what I mean? Especially when you did everything you were supposed to do, and everybody, and you went by the playbook that the man wrote, and you see people that's less qualified, less knowledgeable, less intelligent, that's not black, get certain opportunities or get in front of the line. That's just a real thing that we deal with. You know what I mean? So this notion that you can't use your race as an excuse on why you couldn't achieve success early, I don't think is fair.
Yes or no? Did he get a degree?
From what I heard, no.
No. Did he lie and say he had a degree in chemical engineering? Yes or no?
I think he didn't correct people. I've heard people say, "Oh, you got a chemical engineering degree."
Sir, what is your name?
He never corrected.
Sir, what is your name?
My name is Rob.
Rob.
Call me Rob.
Rob. If I call you Dr. Rob and you're not a doctor and you fail to correct me, are you lying?
I'm not being. Lying is an action, bro.
Rob, now
let's keep it real. Lying is an action.
Bullshitting, Rob.
I'm not being.
And that's not manly.
I'm not defending that. I'm just saying lying is an action.
Look, Rob, if somebody bullshit and say they bullshit, but don't sit here and act like he was straight up when he wasn't straight up. You see, the problem is you got people like me that's 100, and then you got people like him that's 32. You hear me? Now, there's a lot of numbers missing when you need to get to 100 and your ass is just 32.
So he keep referencing about keeping it 100, man. And it's just like, and that's why I pointed out that pick he took with KS, you know what I mean? And then him criticizing him now, you know what I mean? It's not 100. Like if you was trying to be this man's friend, and now that he passed, now you want to be back a critic. Like I just don't feel like that's just a straight up guy, just to keep it a bean. And you'll hear throughout our conversation, he addressed me as young man. You know what I mean? Because I look younger than what I actually are, or actually am. You know, being 40. You know, and he kept referencing me as being, young man. Now, we in the flow of a conversation, a discussion, a debate. I don't have to, nor does he need to know that I'm not maybe as young as he think I am. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like it's necessary for me to correct him or anybody at that particular moment. You know what I mean? Especially if it may not really be none of your business. So as far as Kevin Samuels having a degree, not having a degree, yes, he was on Vlad. And recently we seen on T.I. did a podcast with him. And they went over his resume and they mentioned his degree. Now he didn't stop and say, well, I really didn't finish. I don't consider him being a liar by him not saying, wait, well, actually I didn't finish my degree. Let them talk or think what they want to think, because at the end of the day, it's really not their business. Now, if he went out and stated, which I never heard him, say out his mouth, I've graduated or I have a degree in chemical engineering. I haven't heard him say that. And whatever a person got on their LinkedIn file, that's what people do to, network, get a job and things of that nature. That's not him submitting for a job where he's lying about having a degree. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that was kind of a stretch for what he was trying to do as far as that situation. Moving forward. I don't want to play the whole thing because you could get it on his his page.
Why don't you sit here and be real and say the man lied and misrepresented himself so that he could look legitimate? So he was not one of integrity. However, he had good points. He had an entertaining show. We can acknowledge both sides, but you are not being a man to sit here and stand for lies and then try to cover over it. It's despicable.
Before you go on,
he is very culpable in not correcting people when people say he finished school. He's culpable in that. No argument in that. But back to what I was saying, he was an intelligent person, and there's a lot of intelligent people that peak at different times, whether they figure it out late, whether they finally got that break they was looking for. And like I was going to say, Steve Harvey didn't become a millionaire till like in his 40s. I think he said this a lot of times,
Right.
So we're getting into. So I want to get into like Steve Harvey is another example, like Kevin Samuels that found success, later in life. let me go to the next part before I get into some more talking points. Let's see.
We're not trying to delay. So what I'm telling you is, look, just like Kanye told Sway, you ain't got the answers. That's what I would tell to Kevin Samuels and as well to Steve Harvey. If we want to talk about how do you duplicate success, they ain't got the answers. It took them forever to fucking do it. And in their case, they did it in the entertainment industry. Most people are not fit to be entertainers. You can't replicate that. But the shit that I'm teaching right here, little buddy, that shit, that crack, that ready rock, you heard me? This gonna get you paid. And this could get you paid today. And you don't have to have a special talent to talk shit the way Marquette Devon Burton talk shit. You ain't got to have pretty teeth like I got. You ain't got to have drip like I got. You heard me? You can do a product-based business, and it's simple enough, just like real estate, that anybody can do it. And I know because I've been doing this for the last 10 years, and I've been on for a motherfucking while. You dig? So what I'm saying is black people's number one issue is poverty. But here, let me let you in on a secret. Everybody's issue around the world is money.
So my issue with what he just said is that even millionaires or billionaire, white people, it took them a long time, maybe in their 40s to become, let's say, make their first million. So I think it's just a bad idea to try to preach and get people in a mindset of trying to, he said $1 million is not important, but being successful. So you have to define success. So it's a slight contradiction. You know what I mean? He mentioned in a conversation that you don't have to have $1 million to be successful, which I agree. So what is success? You know what I mean? He didn't define that. So is success, is financial success, having a job where you can afford to pay for the things to survive and to have, a comfortable life of living. For some people, depending on where they live, that type of success could mean $50,000 a year, $75,000 a year, $100,000 a year, and either you're going to attain it two ways, through a job or through entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is hard than a motherfucker. It could take a lifetime, and then and also you could pretty much have the package put together, and you could pass away, and your son, daughter, or somebody inherited, they could make it a success, after death. So I really just, the way Kevin Samuels did it, he was an intelligent person. And when people that are intelligent, they just try different things until something works, whether it's 10,000 ideas. That's why most people say most businesses fail, and most people that have success, maybe the first 99 ideas failed and that one worked. You know what I mean? So it takes time to go through those motions. And yes, if you have someone to give you the game early and figure it out, that's cool. But I don't think that saying that a person like Steve Harvey or Kevin Samuels can't give or wasn't qualified enough to give advice on being successful, I think that's wrong. I think both Steve Harvey and Kevin Samuels showed that hard work, consistency will pay off. Hard work and consistency will pay off. You know what I mean? And that's something that I took, a lot of people took, is just keep going at it, even when you ready to give up. Even I think the lead attorney said he was going to give up on YouTube. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's kind of my disconnect. All right, moving on.
That's the number one thing they're trying to get to. So what I'm telling you is, no, I'm not going to recommend you follow the plan of a motherfucker who had 57 years on life and they basically failed financially for 55 of them. That's the bullshit. And we ain't gonna be emotional out here as males and act like it's all good. This shit ain't all good. And it's okay to say so.
All right, moving forward. Let's see. Let's move up here.
Solutions.
I know
why it's okay to be slow at winning. Why are we trying to figure out why it's okay to underperform when you're black? And instead of trying to figure out why you need to get embroiled in hustle mania and get after this goddamn money ASAP. Why we can't figure that out?
We can figure it out, but we have to be realistic. Everybody can't be rich in a capitalist society. We got temper. We got about 10. So I make this point on different conversations. You know, he reminds me of women when they say, like, you know, black men need to get to the bag. They need to do this, need to do that, so they could be successful. But a lot of people fail to realize that we live in a capitalist society. Every man cannot make six figures, and if every person has six figures, that means there's no separation. It's like, how can I explain? What's a good way to explain this? All right, imagine if everybody in the U.S. had $1 million, right? The way you separate yourself from people is to be ahead, to be ahead. And so the capitalist society has consumers, has owners and consumers. So if we all got $1 million, we all got houses, we all able to get certain things, then who's gonna work? Who's gonna work on my house if they already a millionaire and I'm already a millionaire? Who's gonna work at the grocery stores? Who's gonna provide services? You know what I mean? So it's basically a system where we barter and trading based on our skill set. I'll trade you, I'll trade you some oranges, you know what I mean, for some apples, or I'll fix your roof if you can, cook me dinner. So it'll be exchanges with people like that. But when everything is the same, there's no labor. You know what I mean? And that's a totally deep, that's a deep conversation. That's like, you know what I mean? So it's another form of socialism. So yes, you want to encourage everyone to do what they can, but only let's say that the talented 10th is going to rise from that. And so everybody can't get it. So that's why Kevin Samuels made good points, is that at the end of the day, there's going to be winners and losers. And most people are going to be, I don't want to say losers, but there's going to be rich and poor and a small middle class or average. And so every man can't be at 10%, because 10% means 10%. So that's the point that a lot of people can't wrap their minds around. All right, let me go to one more point.
Bro, you did.
But you talking about we don't live in socialism, bro. Socialism, everybody being in the same race. Capitalism is winners and losers, bro.
Do you know
what winners and losers?
Since you got an MBA, since you got an MBA degree and you're educated, what's the
All right. And so I'm gonna go to the last. Let me see the last part I'm gonna react to. So bear with me. This is like my first time trying to react in my way. So, all right. Lottery. If you had to win the lottery numbers and gave it to everybody, who would win? Only people will win if you give it to a limited amount of people. You can't give everybody the same game.
About gambling. You're completely off topic of what we're talking about.
So I feel like I backed him in a corner, and he didn't answer my question, and which kind of alluded to my point of everybody can't get the same information. Imagine giving everybody the same game. Anybody that know when you give too many people the same game, they burn up, or a lick, they burn up the lick. You know, you figure out a loophole or a scheme or information about anything, especially black people. Everybody gonna do it, and it's gonna be burnt up. You know what I mean? So yes, certain systems can work if you give it to a limited amount of people, because you don't have to worry about other people competing for that same bag or that same idea, whatever the case may be. You're only giving game to a few people. So yes, if you're coaching people, let's say offline in a course or Patreon where is a limited people, yeah, it'll work because you're not exposing the same game to everybody. But when you putting things out on a public platform and you know what I mean, and everybody got the same opportunity to hear what you're saying or to hear what the lick is or the play is, it's going to be a failure for most people because everybody going to be doing the same thing. You know, there's so many examples. You know, same with certain with the cryptocurrency. You tell everybody to invest in this, and most people are going to lose out. You know what I mean? The ones that got in early gonna win, but the ones that got in, most of the people that got in at the same time gonna lose because you're giving everybody the same information. It only benefits the person it only benefits the person that's given the information that's given the information, not necessarily the person that received the information. But I mean, overall, I mean, it was I appreciate him allowing me to come up. It was his platform, so he can, you know, he has to present himself in a way because it's his platform. I don't think that to get a point across, you don't really have to over talk and try to use shaming tactics to prove a point. You know what I mean? I feel like you prove points with substance, but that's neither here or there. Blacks getting rich later, he was pretty much saying this, it's an excuse to use your skin color if you were getting rich later in life, on why we're late. What else did I want to mention? Yeah, just keeping it 100. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to call that out. Hopefully I effectively called that out. And my last thing I would say is yes, I he appears to be successful. I believe he is successful. And his message, I'm pretty sure it helps some people, but it doesn't mean that it works for everyone. Kevin Samuels, he really didn't coach people on to be high value, and the advice he gave information based on his experiences. Now, was he the best person to talk about marriage and relationships with his marital history? No. Is he qualified to speak on it? Yes. Yes, it could have been a better advocate that was married and can speak on it. You know what I mean? But that's what we had. But at the end of the day, he had good points, neither here or there. But appreciate y'all checking out the actual stream that the Saint the Center did. I'll put it in the description. And once again, please subscribe. And like I said in the beginning, my channel is geared towards international travel to the countries of the diaspora, specifically Brazil, Brazil, Colombia, from the Afro-Colombian, Afro-Brazilian perspective, and then also I look South Africa, and I'm looking in Zimbabwe as well, as far as African countries. And then Nigeria, I'm looking into for the ladies. So if you're not interested in travel, give my channel a chance. Maybe you may find interest in travel. Once you learn some things, you could definitely check out a lot of vids that I posted. And my goal is to help people, whether they just looking for dating internationally, relationships, wanting to start a family because you don't want to start a family in the U.S. And if you want to be married, but you just don't want to be married in the U.S. or to someone of the American culture. So appreciate you checking it out. Peace out.